Hi, this is Troy from the Do-It-Yourself World in the Off-Grid Project with Link's mom. Hello.
Hi.
And we're doing a little demonstration of wool. Here we have actually the raw wool that was cut right off a sheep. And here we have some finished products, some nice sweaters and scarves. And I thought it was quite interesting to see how this is done. And here you can actually see the dirt in the wool. This was sheared recently, I guess, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And yeah, I don't know if that shows up in the camera. You can see all the dirt and the pieces of plant material in there. And then here's a big mass of wool. And then you were showing me how, from this point, this is right off the sheep. Then what do we do with it, you said?
Well, one way is to clean it a bit before you spin it.
Mm-hmm.
And to comb it out.
Mm-hmm.
And one method that is used, there's several used, you get a comb and comb at either end and then you spin it, or you use what's called a drum carder, which I've got one of over there.
And that's going to brush out the dirt, is what that's about?
Well, it'll really comb it and push it all in together,
mm-hmm.
coming out a bit like this.
Okay.
To make it easy to spin and pull out as you're spinning
Uh-huh.
it. So, it's the wool. Someone's got a bit of vegetable matter in it. And generally you put a whole row of this along the edge of here, but I'll just do a certain area. And then you turn it up like this, and it goes between the two drums.
Mm-hmm.
And it ends up on the larger drum.
Mm-hmm.
Like that. Which combs it. And you would do
A big mass of it, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And when it's quite thick on there, you've got it right along to that full length, which
mm-hmm.
is 12 inches. You get a knitting needle or something and pull it off from that point.
Mm-hmm.
And then as you pull it off, you turn the handle and you roll
mm-hmm.
it, so it's, say, rolling over your hand,
mm-hmm.
so you end up with a big mass which is then ready to spin.
Okay.
But the ones I've got down here, this has been washed and done in a factory, I guess you'd call it, wouldn't you? Mm. And that's been combed
mm-hmm.
on very big machinery, and they press it in, so it's what they call a slither, which is what that is, and as you spin it, you pull out a bit here and a bit there, and away you go.
I can't believe that from fine hairs like that, all individual strands of fine hair. It's so amazing that that actually holds up like that.
Maybe it's to do with the lanolin in it, which is the oil in the sheets.
It's interesting. And then from there we can spin it, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And I've also got some in here, but like that, a slither, and that's actually alpaca, which is very beautiful.
Oh, that's nice and soft.
It is nice and soft.
Right there you can see individual groups from where it was shorn.
An interesting thing though with the wool, if you put it under a microscope,
mm-hmm.
It just looks a big piece of rope, I guess you'd say. Whereas with the alpaca, that's actually hollow in the centre, and even though it's very fine, it holds a lot of warmth in that centre bit that's got nothing.
Oh, the hollow, like hollow
the
tubes.
Hole, I should say.
Okay.
Yeah. So you do like here, or going over everything. This spinning wheel I have, this is a very commonly used one in Australia anyway, as an Ashford, and it's made in New Zealand. The company started, or a family started making toys many years ago, and then they got into spinning wheels. So then they export these and you buy them in like a flat pack and put them together yourself.
Oh, neat. It's very simple. Like, I was looking at the simplicity. There's just a straight bar with a hollowed in, there's a hole in the end that sticks into. And then a foot pedal, and here a piece of leather for the like universal joint. And then up here a little piece of metal. It's so simple. I don't know why I expected these to be more complicated.
So what you normally do is spin a whole bobbin and then take it off and put it on here, which is called a lazy Kate, and put another bobbin, an empty one, on here and spin that.
Mm-hmm.
Then put those two bobbins on the lazy Kate and get another bobbin and put it on your spinning wheel and spin them together.
Oh, that's why yarn has twisted strands on it, like that one has there.
Yes, it's been plied.
I see. There you can see the twisted strands on that. And focus on there, right? Interesting.
So, what I've got on here is actually dyed. I was given some dye that, I've forgotten the name of it, came from South Australia anyway. And you put it with a paintbrush and just paint it with a slipper, and then just spin it and see how it comes off.
Okay.
And another way to dye wool too is getting off the track a bit, but with jelly crystals too, I've seen that done.
Oh.
Yeah, and the colours don't come up bright, not like the bright red jelly, it's more like a pinky colour, but it doesn't wash out.
This is interesting how you start that on. It's so simple.
Just pull that in like that, or sort of like that. That in there. And start gluing up.
I can't believe that holds together so well.
Just keep drawing out your wool as need be. If you spin too fast and draw out not fast enough, it overspins, which is just about to happen. Or if you feed out too quick and you're not spinning fast enough, that's when it'll go in, it won't spin properly. It'll have big lumps of it. Which is how I think every beginner has it like.
Very relaxing.
Extremely relaxing. One spinning group I was in, they used to call it spinner yarn because they said everyone was there spinning two types of yarn. Would you like to have a go, Troy?
I don't feel confident enough, to be honest, but it's very interesting just watching.
I think that's why these spinning wheels at Ashford are very popular, because they're very easy for beginners and that, whereas some of the wheels are more, I don't know, they seem stiffer or something to spin with, not as loose.
So just by spinning it, that's what gives it its strength and it binds the fibers together.
It gives it that twist.
That's amazing. And even if you mess up, you just put it right back in.
Put it back in. It's a good thing because you can just leave it and come back a day later. It's not something you have.
Yeah, true.
Even though you're joining, making a big long.
Right. So how long does it take to get this full?
Oh, gee, I used to spin for, I would say about, depending on how thick you spin. If you spin very thin. Yeah. Probably about 3 hours.
Wow. So how much does it take to make a sweater?
Oh, by weight.
Well, I mean, how long would it take you to spin enough to make a sweater?
I worked it out once, the spinning and the knitting, I think it worked out about 45 hours.
Wow.
That was an average size ladies. Basic knitting.
Wow.
Yeah. Because it's surprising once you spin up the two bobbins and ply them, how much wool you do get out of it. But if you weigh it and then you wash it, or before you weigh, when you weigh it, you allow 10% of dirt to come out.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, roughly.
Okay.
In a normal Australian kind. Yeah.
Wow. So how many sweaters can you make from one sheep in one shearing?
Depending on the size.
Yeah.
How much would 5 kilos would an average?
No, 3 or 4. Oh, yeah, it depends what sheep you're looking at. Our sheep would be probably 3, 4, probably 4.
Remember those big ones in Niagara up, the big rams, we weighed all the fleeces, they wanted them weighed, and they were like up to 8 kilos, those big rams.
Well, thank you. That was really interesting.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.